You care too much, and it's killing you. You care what they think. You care who likes your post. You care about approval, validation, comfort. And guess what? That's exactly why you're losing. You've built your entire life around what others think of you, and now you're stuck. You're playing a game where the rules aren't yours to decide, and that's a losing game. Most men today are emotional wrecks hiding behind fake confidence. They're glued to their phones, addicted to likes, craving that sweet rush of attention. But let me tell you something, being sensitive doesn't make you enlightened. It makes you easy to control, weak, predictable, replaceable. You think your emotional outbursts, your constant need for approval, is helping you become a better man? No, it's holding you back. It's creating a version of you that is reactive, not proactive. Take a good look at your life. What have you built? What have you accomplished? Now, think about how many times you've allowed someone else's opinion to dictate your actions. How many times have you let that little voice in your head, fed by someone else's judgment, stop you from pushing forward? That's where most of you are stuck, living in a state of self-doubt, ruled by the opinions of people who don't even matter. If you want to start winning, you need to stop caring, not about life, but about the wrong things. You need to detach from the noise, from the distractions, from the expectations placed on you by people who will never understand your journey. You need to stop trying to please everyone. The real strength lies in cutting the emotional baggage that's weighing you down and focusing only on what matters. Here's the truth, plain and simple. Caring about the wrong things is the fastest way to lose your power. You care about your social media image, your status, your comfort. And in doing so, you give up control of your life, your emotions, your direction, your mission. You're not taking charge. You're reacting to everything. And that's not how winners operate. A lion doesn't ask the jungle for permission to hunt. It doesn't care if it's going to be judged. It doesn't waste time worrying about who's watching or who thinks it's too aggressive. It acts with purpose, with clarity, with indifference to everything but its mission. It's time for you to start acting like that lion, to detach from the noise around you, to stop caring about the distractions that have you trapped, and to focus on the mission at hand. This is where the real transformation begins. You stop allowing external forces to dictate your reality. You take your power back. And once you do that, your life will shift. You'll feel more control, more strength, more purpose. This is where men are made. But first, you need to learn how to stop caring about the things that don't serve you. Before we dive deeper into how to detach from the noise and start winning, welcome to the channel. If this hit you like a shot of reality, you're in the right place. Here, we're focused on creating strong, disciplined men who lead, not follow. So, do yourself a favor. Hit that like button, share this video with anyone who needs to hear this, and don't forget to subscribe. Now, let's get to work. Now that we've got your attention, let's dive into the reason you're here. You're not here for some feel-good advice that sends you back into the world thinking everything's fine. No, this isn't another stay positive self-help session. This is war, mental war. The war happening in your head right now. You're here because you've been feeling stuck, drained, overly emotional, like life's just slipping through your fingers. And if you're honest with yourself, you know it. I'm here to show you exactly why that's happening, and more importantly, how to change it. Why does life feel out of control? Why are you stuck in this loop of frustration, anxiety, and mediocrity? It's simple. You were taught to care more. You were taught to put others first, to be available at all times, to be nice, to be emotional. You were told that being in touch with your feelings, being sensitive, would make you a better man. But nobody told you when to draw the line, when to detach, when to pull back. They didn't teach you how to say no, how to shut out the noise, and focus on building, on creating something that truly matters. They just let you drift along, believing that caring more about everyone else would somehow give you the answers. Here's the hard truth. You've been raised to be a people pleaser. You've been trained to think that the more you care about others, the better man you are. You've been conditioned to believe that your worth comes from how others see you. You think that being available, being emotional, and putting others before yourself is the answer. But all it's doing is draining you. It's bleeding you dry mentally and emotionally. And what you're left with is a shell of the man you could be. You're exhausted, you're burnt out, and you're stuck. What you need to realize right now is this: masculinity doesn't thrive on approval. Masculinity thrives on purpose, on direction, on clarity. And right now, you're running on empty because you're spreading yourself too thin, trying to meet everyone else's expectations. You become distracted by things that don't matter, by emotional turbulence that doesn't serve you, and by the constant need for validation from others. And the worst part is, it's all keeping you from the focus you need to achieve what you truly want. You're letting the world's noise drown out your own mission. The truth is, until you start cutting away that emotional fat, until you stop letting the whims of others dictate your every move, you'll never gain the clarity needed to achieve anything meaningful. You're fighting a mental war that you're not even aware of, and it's time to wake up. Masculinity demands focus. It demands that you detach from distractions, that you stop letting the emotions of others hold you hostage. Without that mental clarity, you will always feel overwhelmed and out of control. Right now, you have to ask yourself, what's draining me? What emotional weight am I carrying that's not mine? And how much longer are you going to allow that weight to hold you down before you decide to cut it loose? The answer is simple. You need to take back control. You need to stop playing the victim of your emotions and start being the master of them. Only then will you gain the mental space to start moving forward with purpose. Masculinity isn't about chasing approval. It's about chasing your own purpose, your own vision. The sooner you detach from the nonsense around you, the sooner you start acting with purpose, the sooner you'll realize just how much potential you've been sitting on. But the first step is realizing this. You've been conditioned to be emotionally available to everyone except yourself. Now, here's the core of it. The key to masculine energy is clarity. And right now, you have none. The fog of emotional noise is clouding your vision. It's keeping you from seeing what really matters. Masculinity thrives on purpose, not approval. And until you start cutting the emotional fat, until you make space for what's important, you'll never reach the mental focus you need to win. You will keep spinning your wheels, stuck in the same cycle of frustration, until you change that one simple thing. To put it in perspective, let's take a step back and think about the kind of men who succeed in life, who win. These men are not emotional wrecks. They don't get swept up in the opinions of others. They're decisive, focused, and driven by a purpose that burns deep inside them. They know who they are. They know what they want. And they don't let anything, especially their emotions, get in the way. Confucius once said, "He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior." That's the heart of this whole thing. You're not going to win by conquering others first. You have to conquer yourself, your emotions, your distractions, your need for approval. Only then will you become the warrior you were meant to be. The man who takes charge of his life, who wins, who leads. You want that clarity? You want that purpose? Then let's stop talking and start doing. Because this is where the change happens, when you start applying this mindset, cutting the dead weight, and doing the work. Let's dive into how you can break free from this cycle and get your power back. Now that we've stripped away the illusions and laid down the foundation, it's time to confront the real enemy. The real reason you're stuck, the reason you're not winning, your habits, your mentality, the lies you've been telling yourself. I'm not here to sugarcoat things. I'm here to hit you with the truth, no matter how hard it is to hear. So let's talk about the real struggles that are holding you back, the ones you don't want to face, but need to if you want to change. And trust me, it's not going to be pretty. You are addicted to validation. Let that sink in. You check your phone more than you check your purpose. Every scroll, every like, every comment, you think it gives you power. But no, your ego is hooked, trapped by the need for external approval. Every time you get that small dopamine hit from a thumbs up, you feel good for a second, but deep down, you're just getting weaker. You're trading your time, your focus, your energy for validation that doesn't even matter. What does it actually do for you? Nothing. It fills the hole for a minute, but then it comes back. The hole. It's never enough. And the more you keep chasing it, the emptier you'll feel. You're so addicted to the opinions of others that you've stopped thinking for yourself. You've become a slave to the outside world, to the judgment and approval of people who don't care about your mission. You spend more time looking for external validation than you do building your own damn life. That's why you're not where you want to be. Your purpose is lost in a sea of distractions, drowned out by the need to be liked. Stop looking for approval from people who don't even have the vision to see your potential. They're not your audience. They're not your tribe. You're a lion, but you're acting like a sheep. It's time to wake up and stop living for likes and comments. You take everything personally. You let the smallest criticisms tear you apart. Someone criticizes you, you crumble. She ignores your text, you spiral. Your friend gets ahead, you sit there stewing in envy instead of doing the hard work it takes to get ahead yourself. And let me tell you something, that's not masculinity. That's emotional dependency. You're living in a state of constant reaction, letting every little thing affect your mood, your mindset, and your productivity. Real men don't react. They respond. They stay focused on the mission, no matter what the world throws at them. And right now, you're letting the world control you. It's time to break free from that, to stop letting every little thing affect your peace and your progress. Look at yourself. When's the last time you truly owned a moment without worrying about how others were judging you? When did you last make a decision based solely on your own values, without letting outside opinions affect it? I'll tell you when. Probably never. Because you've been conditioned to think that everything revolves around other people's thoughts and feelings. But the truth is, their thoughts don't matter. Your thoughts do. Your purpose matters. And if you keep taking everything personally, you'll never gain the mental strength to move forward. You'll be stuck in a cycle of emotional reaction, too weak to build anything of substance. You fear silence. You've been taught to fear being alone with your own thoughts, to fear the stillness. Silence scares weak men. They need noise to feel alive. They drown out the noise in their heads with distractions, with background chatter, with constant movement. But real men thrive in silence because that's where clarity is born. Silence forces you to confront yourself, your weaknesses, your doubts. And that's exactly why most men run from it. They don't want to face what's lurking inside. But you need to. You need to learn how to be comfortable with yourself. You need to sit with your thoughts long enough to confront your inner chaos and turn it into focus. The man who can be comfortable in silence is the man who has control over his mind and his life. Denzel Washington said, "Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship." And he's right. Easiness makes you weak. Comfort zones make you stagnant. You've been living in the safety of your comfort zone for far too long, and it's time to break out. Life doesn't reward the man who seeks ease. It rewards the man who puts in the work, who pushes through the discomfort, who faces adversity head-on. The man who runs from challenges is the man who remains weak. But the man who embraces them, he's the one who grows. He's the one who wins. You've been feeding yourself the lie that life should be easy, that everything should fall into place without effort. Well, let me burst your bubble right here. Life is hard. Real growth comes through struggle. Real success comes from discomfort. It's time to stop avoiding the grind and start embracing it. If you want to be a man of value, you have to be willing to put in the work when no one's watching. You have to be willing to face the pain, the frustration, and the struggle, knowing that it's the only way to build something real. Now let's talk about the mental clutter that's costing you everything. You can't build with a full plate. You're trying to carry everyone's opinions, your past failures, your fake obligations, all that emotional baggage you've picked up along the way. And it's heavy. It's dragging you down. It's costing you your focus, your energy, your power. You're trying to juggle everything. And in the process, you're dropping the most important things. Your mind is so full of noise that there's no room for clarity. And that's why you're stuck. Because you're not able to focus on the things that really matter, the things that will move the needle in your life. Instead, you're bogged down by the mental clutter, by the distractions, by the nonsense. You need to clear your mental space. You need to start cutting out the unnecessary noise, the opinions that don't serve you, the distractions that keep you from doing the work. Your brain isn't a junk drawer. It's your most powerful asset. And right now, it's drowning in clutter. Clean it up. Get rid of the thoughts, and the people who are holding you back. You can't afford to keep carrying that baggage anymore. It's time to declutter, to prioritize, and to focus on building the life you deserve. Every minute spent dwelling on other people's judgments, every second spent worrying about the past, is a minute you could be using to build something meaningful. Every time you allow your mind to wander, every time you let the emotional weight of the world pull you off course, you lose. You lose time, you lose energy, and you lose the ability to control your own life. It's time to break free from that cycle and get back in control. Your brain is your most valuable asset. It's the one thing you have full control over. And right now, you're letting it run wild. You're letting it get distracted, get emotional, get overwhelmed by nonsense. But no more. It's time to start taking back control. It's time to start cutting out the noise and focusing on what actually matters. Now that we've laid it all out, let's talk about the steps you need to take to break free from all this. Because the truth is, you can't change your life until you change how you think. And the first thing you need to do is clear your mind, get rid of the distractions, and start taking action. Here's how we do it. All right, we've ripped through the lies, the habits, and the distractions that have been keeping you stuck. Now it's time to get serious. It's time to turn all of this knowledge into action. Because nothing changes without it. You can sit there and reflect on what's holding you back, or you can take charge of your life and start implementing the changes that will make you stronger, sharper, and unstoppable. No more waiting. No more excuses. It's time to build the man you were meant to be. Let's break it down into real, actionable steps. Step 1, cut emotional attachments. Here's where it gets real. The first step to detaching from the noise and regaining control of your life is cutting your emotional attachments. And no, I'm not talking about some deep philosophical nonsense. I'm talking about real action. Start small. Go 1 week without reacting to texts emotionally. Don't get into pointless arguments. Don't waste your time explaining yourself to people who don't get it. Practice emotional silence. When someone hits you with a comment designed to provoke you, don't give them the satisfaction of a response. Let go. And I don't want to hear excuses. But what if they think I'm weak? No. Weakness is in letting others control your emotional state. Strength is in your ability to remain unshaken by the chaos around you. You see, most men today are slaves to their emotions. They let every little thing pull them off course. Someone says something that offends them, boom, they're emotionally triggered. A situation doesn't go their way, they spiral into frustration. But that's not masculinity. A real man doesn't get lost in emotional reactions. He stays calm. He stays controlled. He handles his emotions like a warrior, tactically, not reactively. So practice this emotional silence. And as you do, you'll start to notice something powerful. You're in control of your life again. The noise doesn't dictate your actions anymore. Step 2, create a mission statement. Step 2 is about getting laser focused. You need a mission, something that drives every decision you make. This isn't about goals. This isn't about wishing for success. It's about having a purpose so clear, so specific, that everything else becomes irrelevant. Write a one-line purpose for your life. And make it bold. Make it unapologetic. This is your guiding principle. This is your North Star. If it doesn't align with your mission, drop it. Stop wasting time on things that don't contribute to your purpose. This isn't about being busy. It's about being purposeful. Most men spend their lives aimlessly wandering, distracted by whatever comes their way. They let the world dictate their actions. But that stops now. If it's not moving you toward your mission, it doesn't deserve your attention. You need to be ruthlessly disciplined about what you allow into your life. The clearer your mission, the easier it becomes to make decisions. You'll stop second-guessing yourself and start cutting the dead weight. Focus, clarity, purpose. That's what drives greatness. Don't settle for mediocrity. Don't settle for comfort. Your mission is your legacy. Everything you do must be in alignment with that. And when you make this your foundation, everything else falls into place. You won't waste your time chasing validation. You won't waste your energy on things that don't matter. Your mission will be your compass, guiding you every step of the way. Step 3, practice cold exposure. Next up, cold exposure. You may be thinking, what the hell does that have to do with becoming a stronger man? Well, everything. Cold showers, fasting, solitude. These things aren't just challenges. They're training for your mind. They teach you to stop chasing comfort. And listen closely. Comfort is your enemy. It's the reason you're weak. It's the reason you stay stuck. Comfort makes you soft. It dulls your senses. It prevents you from growing. But discomfort? Discomfort forces you to adapt, to fight, to overcome. And the more you embrace it, the more control you gain. When you step into that cold shower, or when you push yourself through hunger, or when you sit alone in silence, you are building mental toughness. You are teaching your mind that you are in control, that you can withstand anything. And once you start gaining control over your physical discomfort, it'll translate into every area of your life. Your fears, your doubts, your problems, none of them will feel as powerful as they did before. Cold exposure is more than a physical challenge. It's a mental one. And the more you push yourself through it, the more you develop the resilience to keep going no matter what. It's about conditioning your brain to fight for control. And let's be real, most men won't do this. They'll make excuses. They'll take the easy way out. But not you. If you're serious about winning, if you're serious about becoming a man who dominates his life, this is the type of practice you need. Cold exposure isn't optional. It's a weapon in your arsenal, and the more you use it, the stronger you'll become. Step 4. Stop explaining yourself. Step 4 is simple. Stop explaining yourself. Your life is not a courtroom. You don't owe anyone a defense. You don't need to justify your decisions. Real men don't apologize for living their truth. They don't explain why they do what they do. They do what needs to be done, silently, decisively, without seeking approval. People will try to pull you into their drama, into their need for validation, but you can't afford that. Every minute you spend explaining yourself is a minute you've wasted. When you make a decision, own it. Don't explain it. Don't justify it. And don't feel the need to gain approval. Most men spend their lives trapped in the cycle of needing to explain their actions to others. But that's a waste of time. Every time you explain yourself, you give away your power. You give away your focus. The man who is secure in his purpose doesn't need to explain himself. He just does. He makes decisions based on his mission, and that's enough. The real strength comes in the silence. When you know what you're doing, when you know why you're doing it, there's no need to seek validation. Your actions speak for themselves. And when you stop explaining yourself to others, you'll find yourself with more time, more energy, and more clarity. You'll be living for you, not for everyone else. Step 5. One task, full focus. Finally, step 5. One task, full focus. Here's the truth. Most men are scattered. They're trying to juggle 100 different things at once, and they're failing at all of them. It's not about multitasking. Multitasking is a lie. It's a myth. If you want to master your mind, you need to pick one thing and do it with full focus. Every day, choose one task, one goal, and attack it relentlessly. No distractions, no excuses, just total focus. That's how mental dominance is built. You want to build discipline? You want to be a man of action? Then stop spreading yourself thin. Stop getting distracted by the noise. Pick one task that aligns with your mission and give it your full energy. Every day, day in, day out, you'll start to see results, and those results will compound. Your mind will get stronger. Your focus will sharpen. And the more you stay committed to this, the more unstoppable you'll become. Now, let me tell you something. It's not easy. It's hard. It's uncomfortable. But this is where the growth happens. The man who can focus on one thing at a time is the man who can dominate his life. And when you build this habit, you're no longer at the mercy of distractions. You're no longer at the mercy of the chaos around you. You control your life, your mission, and your focus. That's power. So now you know the steps. You know the actions you need to take. But none of this matters if you don't take action right now. You've heard the truth. You've seen the path. But will you walk it? Will you commit to these steps and finally become the man you're meant to be? Now that you understand the steps to cut the emotional clutter, define your mission, and stop explaining yourself, it's time to get down to the real work. This is where the rubber meets the road. You can talk about detachment all day, But unless you back it up with action, consistent, disciplined action, you'll never achieve the power and clarity you seek. So let's dive into the habits and mindsets that will forge the iron you need to thrive in a world designed to distract and weaken you. If you want to build real strength, real mental toughness, and real masculinity, these are the habits you need to embody. Mental toughness. Let's start with the foundation, mental toughness. Detachment doesn't just happen. It's not something you wake up with one day. It's forged in the mind. The mind is your battleground. And if you're not training it every single day, you're losing. It starts with resistance. Resistance to comfort. Resistance to the things that make you weak. Fast for 16 hours. Meditate in silence. Silence, the constant chatter of your mind. The urge to eat, the urge to check your phone, the urge to numb yourself with distractions. Resist it all. Every time you resist, you're strengthening your mental muscle. Think about it. How many times a day do you give in to temptation? How many times do you indulge your weaknesses? Each time you give in, you're training your mind to be weaker. But every time you resist, you're building that unshakable core of mental toughness that will serve you when the real tests come. You think those moments of discipline don't matter? They matter more than anything else. The strongest men are not the ones with the biggest muscles, the flashiest cars, or the loudest mouths. They're the ones who can sit in silence, endure discomfort, and stay focused no matter what. That's mental toughness. Self-discipline. Next, let's talk about self-discipline. You think it's hard to get up early? Try living a life of chaos. Try waking up every day with no plan, no purpose, no direction. You'll feel lost. You'll feel weak. But self-discipline doesn't come from motivation. It comes from ritual. And the key to a man's strength is in his rituals. Wake up early. Write your goals. Move your body. Review your finances. These aren't chores. They're rituals. They're the foundation of your success. Every morning, you should be setting the tone for the day. Your mind, your body, and your spirit should all be aligned with one purpose. Most men waste their mornings scrolling through social media or sleeping in, and it's no wonder they're stuck. If you want to take control of your life, it starts with your first few moments of the day. No excuses. You wake up, you attack the day, and you do it with purpose. You don't roll over and hit snooze. You don't wait for motivation to strike. You create it. The discipline you cultivate every morning will carry you through the chaos of the day. You set the pace, not the world around you. Self-discipline is about pushing yourself to be better, even when you don't feel like it. It's about making yourself do the things that will get you closer to your goals, even when every part of you wants to quit. And let me be clear, if you can't discipline yourself, you'll never be able to master your life. You can't be trusted to lead others, to achieve greatness, or to control your destiny if you can't control yourself. Discipline is the foundation that everything else is built upon. Financial clarity. Now, let's talk about financial clarity. You can't ignore this part of the equation. You might think that money doesn't make you a man, but I'll tell you what, it does give you options. It gives you freedom. Money doesn't define your worth as a man, but being broke robs you of your voice. When you're financially strapped, you're constantly under someone else's thumb. Your power is limited. And in a world where money rules, not having it puts you at a severe disadvantage. Start tracking your spending. I'm talking about every dollar. Most men have no idea where their money is going. They waste it on things they don't need, status symbols, distractions, instant gratification. And when it comes to investments, they're sinking it into depreciating assets or luxury items that do nothing for their future. Instead, invest in assets, real estate, stocks, businesses that appreciate over time. Building a second stream of income isn't optional. It's a necessity. If you're relying on one paycheck, you're living in a house of cards. So build wealth. Create freedom. Stop wasting money on things that don't serve your mission. Money doesn't make you a man, but not having it will make you a slave to the system. And if you're serious about becoming the man you're meant to be, you need to get serious about your financial future. Plan your finances like you plan every other aspect of your life, with focus, with discipline, and with a vision. Discipline is the father of freedom. Robert Greene. And let me tell you, This is the core of everything we're talking about. Discipline is the backbone of your freedom. When you master your habits, when you control your mind, when you control your body, you're free. You're not a slave to comfort, to distractions, to other people's opinions. You're free to live life on your terms, to build what you want, and to be the man you were meant to be. Discipline isn't a burden, it's liberation. The more disciplined you become, the more choices you have, the more control you have, and the more you become the master of your own fate. And in this chaotic world, that's the only kind of freedom that matters. Physical strength. Now let's talk about physical strength. You don't need abs to be strong. What you need is capacity. Strength that says, I can carry the weight. I can protect. I can endure. Real strength isn't about looking good in a mirror. It's about being able to perform when it matters most. You need to be able to carry the load, whether that's the physical demands of your job, the weight of your responsibilities, or the emotional challenges life throws your way. Strength is about endurance, resilience, and power in the face of adversity. It's about being able to handle the challenges that come your way and being able to do it without breaking. Get in the gym, get in shape, but don't just focus on looking good. Focus on building real strength that translates to power in all aspects of your life. Your body is your first line of defense. It's your foundation. And if it's weak, everything else crumbles. Emotional control. Finally, let's talk about emotional control. You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to have emotions, but you're not allowed to fold under pressure. Real masculinity is emotional mastery, not emotional suppression. Too many men think that to be strong, they have to hide their feelings. They bottle up their emotions, and when they explode, they do so in destructive ways. That's not emotional control. That's emotional chaos. Real emotional control is about understanding your emotions, not being controlled by them. It's about knowing when to express yourself and when to keep calm. It's about being the calm in the storm, not the storm itself. Emotions are powerful. They can fuel you. They can motivate you. But they can also destroy you if you let them take over. So control them. Master them. Don't let them control you. So now you have the mindset, the habits, and the clarity to take control of your life. You know that detachment isn't just about cutting off from others. It's about cutting off from weakness, from the habits that drain your power, and from the comfort that keeps you stuck. You've heard the theories. You've read the books. You've watched the motivational videos. But it's time to cut through the noise and get down to the raw truth. The world doesn't care about your feelings, your excuses, or your potential. It only cares about results. And if you're not getting those results, you're wasting time. So let's get one thing straight. This isn't about self-care, positivity, or some feel-good mantra. This is about execution. It's about performance. It's about making your life an unstoppable force. You've been stuck in your head for too long, and now it's time to shut up and get to work. Cut the noise. You don't need another reel. You don't need another meme with some half-baked quote that sounds good for 10 seconds. You don't need another dopamine hit to make you feel like you've done something productive. You need resolve. You need discipline. You need action. These motivational distractions are designed to keep you busy but never move you forward. They keep you in a loop of superficial progress, feeling like you're doing something when, in reality, you're doing nothing. Stop looking for inspiration in quick sound bites. It's a trap. The real grind, the real progress happens when you turn off the noise, stop chasing empty validation, and focus on results. Execution is the only thing that counts. If you're not executing, then you're just pretending. Pretending to be busy, pretending to be on your grind, but deep down, you know you're just killing time, waiting for something external to motivate you. That's weakness. Real strength lies in doing the work whether you feel like it or not. No more victimhood. Let's address the elephant in the room. Your past doesn't matter. Your trauma doesn't exempt you. Nobody cares. The world isn't waiting for your sob story. And that's the hard truth you need to hear. Everyone's got baggage. Everyone's got a reason to play the victim card. But here's the thing. If you keep holding on to those excuses, you're going to stay stuck. And when you stay stuck, you get swallowed. You get forgotten. You get left behind. Life doesn't give you a pass because you've had a rough go. It doesn't wait for you to heal. If you're waiting for some magical moment where your past gets erased and everything just falls into place, you'll be waiting forever. That moment isn't coming. So either you get stronger or you get swallowed by your own weakness. Victimhood is a choice, and it's one you have to stop making. Every time you give into it, you forfeit your power. Every time you blame the past or use it as an excuse, you remain a prisoner to it. You want to break free? Stop complaining. Stop waiting. Start moving. Execution wins. Here's the bottom line. Winners detach from feelings and attach to results. Period. You want to be a winner? Then stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for motivation to strike. You either show up or you shut up. Excuses are for weak men. Real men show up. Every single day. They work when they're tired, when they're discouraged, when they don't feel like it. They don't make excuses, they make moves. Excuses are the crutch of the weak. I'm too tired, I need a break, it's too hard. That's the language of failure. Winners don't talk like that. They keep their eyes on a goal. They keep pushing forward, no matter what. If you want success, you need to burn the excuses. The moment you start making excuses is the moment you stop being a contender. You either show up or you don't. There's no in between. There's no I'll try. You show up, you do the work, and you execute. That's how winners win. Think of yourself as a Ferrari. But right now, you're stuck in neutral. You got all the power, all the potential, but you're too scared to burn the tires. You've got the tools to succeed, but you're holding back. You're afraid to shift gears, afraid to put the pedal to the metal and actually take the risks necessary to make something of yourself. You're waiting for permission. You're waiting for a sign. Well, here it is. Shift, move, win. That Ferrari's not going to get anywhere stuck in neutral. You're wasting your potential, wasting your time, and holding yourself back. You need to rev that engine, push through the fear, and drive full throttle into the future you want. Nothing's going to happen until you take that first step, until you get comfortable with the discomfort of moving forward. But once you shift, once you start moving, there's no stopping you. That's the power of execution. No hesitation, no fear, just results. Execution is the foundation of everything we've talked about. Without it, you're just spinning your wheels, waiting for something to change. But when you execute, when you do the work day in and day out, that's when you start to see real progress. And it's not just about work, it's about purpose. It's about knowing what you're working towards and having the mental fortitude to stay the course no matter what. Let's dive into the next phase of this journey, the habits that will make all of this execution sustainable. We've covered the groundwork, the hard truths, the steps, the mindset. Now, it's time to put all of this into action. I've given you the blueprint, but it's up to you to build. The road won't be easy. You're going to have to sacrifice, push yourself past limits you didn't think you had, and face down every fear, every excuse, and every obstacle in your path. But make no mistake, this is your calling. You were never meant to beg, to apologize, to shrink into the background. You were born to lead, born to protect, born to dominate with purpose. Detachment isn't about coldness. It's about clarity. When you stop caring about what everyone else thinks, that's when you can focus. That's when you can see clearly. And let me tell you something, clarity wins wars. Not the strongest man, not the loudest man. The man who can detach from the chaos and focus solely on the mission is the one who wins. You've been distracted for too long. Now it's time to focus. It's time to silence the noise and start dominating every part of your life with clarity and purpose. You weren't meant to play small. You weren't meant to hide in the shadows, waiting for permission to step into your greatness. No, you were born to carve out your own path. You were born to stand tall, to rise above the noise, to break the mold that society wants to shove you into. But that path isn't easy. It's not supposed to be. If it were, everyone would walk it. But few will have the guts to take the first step. Few will have the courage to push forward when everyone else is stuck in their comfort zones. And if you're serious about change, if you're serious about becoming the man you were always meant to be, then you need to stop waiting for the world to hand you anything. You need to take it. Here's your challenge, right here, right now. If you're serious about change, if you're done sitting on the sidelines and watching life pass you by, then make a public commitment. Comment below. I don't chase, I build. Burn the bridge. Make it known that you're no longer going to play the victim. No longer going to chase validation. No longer going to wait for permission to live the life you deserve. You're going to build. Every single day, you're going to make moves, take risks, and execute without hesitation. Why make it public? Because it's the only way to hold yourself accountable. It's easy to hide behind a screen and say, yeah, I'll get started tomorrow. But when you make a public commitment, you put yourself on the line. You force yourself to follow through. You burn the bridge so there's no going back. And that's where the real transformation happens. This channel isn't for spectators. It's not for the weak-hearted or the complainers. It's for men who are ready to take responsibility, ready to make hard decisions and build the life they want, no matter the cost. This is a place for builders, warriors, men who don't wait for the world to change. They change the world around them. If that's you, then subscribe. Join this tribe of men who are ready to be tested, ready to push their limits, ready to leave behind the excuses and become who they were always meant to be. If you're not ready to get tested, if you're not ready to be held accountable, then this isn't for you. But if you are, if you're ready to step up, to cut through the noise and execute at the highest level, then hit that subscribe button. Because this is just the beginning. We're here to do more than talk. We're here to act, to build, to dominate. Here's the final truth. Stop caring about what the world thinks. Stop caring about the opinions of others. Start building the world you want to live in. The world doesn't owe you anything. But you have the power to create the life you want. You're the only one who can change your circumstances. One action, one day, one decision at a time. So stop waiting for a sign. This is it. Take action now. Remember, detachment isn't coldness. It's freedom. And freedom is what allows you to dominate your life with clarity, purpose, and power. The path ahead won't be easy, but you were never meant to walk an easy path. You were meant to walk the path that will transform you into the man you're destined to become. Now, it's time to get to work. Subscribe, join the tribe, and let's dominate.